As people rose up in North Africa, Time magazine, HuffPost, even the New York Times asked if events there could be called a Facebook revolution.
While these revolutions may have occurred without social media, the speed at which they have occurred would have been much, much different.
I think social media has been very important.
Social media gives them a safe place. They don't need to know anything about you, on Twitter or Facebook.
At a time of crisis, I think people are searching for information wherever they can find it. If they have internet access, Facebook is a place to which they turn.
One of the darlings of the social media movement, Facebook, was actually created a few thousand miles in that direction on the east coast of America. But it's really only when it reached the west coast, here in California, that its explosive growth took off. So how do those here in California see the role of social media in affecting change?
When you look at revolutions, you usually have a leader. You usually have a cadre of individuals who are the cause, the motivation. But now we're seeing revolutions occur without that. We're seeing democratic change, or what we hope is democratic change, occur in a very broad-based support that's leaderless.
So how does social media help bring about this change?
Social media, what it has done is to really suddenly show the light on perhaps the vastness of the wealth at the top, and also on what is possible in other countries.
Once you allow people to begin expressing themselves, and then when they find other people who they might not meet in their day-to-day life, who have the same feeling, that's a very powerful process.
You get a point where suddenly, the cauldron boils over and people suddenly see that they're not the only ones. It's like a rapid wildfire, in a sense, with a big wind, which suddenly brings people in contact who realize that many feel the way they do, and that it might be possible to do something about it.
And why has use of social media spread so quickly?
The good thing about social media is the tools are free or very low cost. Facebook is free, Twitter is free. You can start a Ning website, which is another social media website.
Individuals can now organize almost costlessly, share information almost costlessly, and that allows them to share ideas, to gather, to call for change in a very short order, whereas before it would have been much more difficult.
But this is only part of the picture. How much credit can social media take for the recent political changes in North Africa?
Social media is much broader than sending 144 characters over Twitter or updating your status posts on Facebook. Those are useful. But if you look at how people are sharing videos, how they are sharing information in Egypt, in Tunisia, in Libya, it's primarily through SMS. It's not primarily through Twitter.
So how did the phrase Facebook revolution come about?
There is so much about these uprisings that people cannot understand, that they're looking for some sort of rationale. How did this happen? And I think they're jumping onto this bandwagon of, here are the latest toys and look at everybody playing with them. This is not to denigrate the role of social media, but as people try to figure out why all this happened, they're saying, well, here are the tools that made it happen. I think that's simply not true.
We observe Twitter, so we give Twitter a lot of credit. but there's a lot more communication going underneath.
For those people who call this the Twitter revolution or the Facebook revolution, I think that's a misnomer that is unfair to the people who went out onto the streets and risked and sometimes lost their lives in the cause of these revolutions.
And the facts on the ground in North Africa seem to confirm the limits of social media's role there.
In Egypt, the greatest growth in the protests occurred after the government shut down the internet. I think social media starts the idea. It gets people involved. But then the protest, if it's going to continue, will take a life of its own.
The Egyptian government shut down just about everything it could, everything from the internet to the train system. And the idea was to try to paralyze this movement, but it didn't work. You know, these revolutionary movements apparently develop a kind of momentum, and once they get rolling, it doesn't matter particularly what the government does.